Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. What's up, people? How y'all doing? We're doing good. How y'all doing today? What's happening? What's going on? What's the old things that was popping? Today I want to jump on something right quick because I believe that we are in a what's going on, people. We're in a dilemma right now because a lot of us want to move forward. Make sure we got volume because I know, a lot of us are in the dilemma of trying to get to the next level. And so because of that, many of us find ourselves looking for opportunities in these other situations. So today on Higher Standards Chronicles, we're going to talk about how to transition. What do you do to transition and how to make that transition work for you? My name is William Dallas. This is the Higher Standards Chronicles. Let's enjoy this. Hi again, for those of you that don't know me, I'm William Dallas, Higher Standards Chronicles, 30 years of ministry, 25 years in business, and a great relationship with my wife. So those are some of the things that we talk about. I've watched the growth of religion and watched the growth of church for so very long that I realized that there were some things that needed to be discussed and some things that needed to be transitioned and changed. So today we're going to talk about those things. And hopefully those of you that get an opportunity, I meant to do this, those of you that get an opportunity to join us on YouTube, we are on YouTube today. Yesterday was Instagram, but today is YouTube. And we're going to talk about transition. We're going to talk about how to get to the next level. What's your desire? Where are you in this situation? Why haven't you seen the things that you desire to see? And a lot of them are because of us. We make some crazy decisions and we make them emotionally because the only thing that can battle the spirit is emotion. Now, I know that sounds really crazy, but that is basically what we have to understand when it comes to that, because we don't understand the level of power that we carry when it comes to who we are. So, there we go. For those of you that hit Instagram, just jump over to YouTube, and we can go from there. So, the only thing that can really battle your spirit is your emotions. Now, why? Because you're talking from center of power to center of power. Your emotions can make you move. Your emotions can stop you. But the center of power is spiritual. I think it's Romans 8:7. There's a passage in Romans 8:7 that says, the carnal mind is in enmity unto God, meaning that it says is neither can be a carnal mind is enmity unto God, means it cannot be subject to the laws of God, neither indeed can be. So what does that mean? What that means is once you have committed to moving in the situations in the direction according to emotions or according to based on what you feel. That is really crazy how that sits there on the edge of that. So based on how you feel, you don't have any power. Now, what does that mean? I have been in some type of church for most of my life. More than half of my life I've been in church. I mean, I started when I was 19. When I started when I was 19, and I went all the way until probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And the one thing I learned that the people outside of church tend to be the ones that grow faster than the ones inside of church. And the people that don't go to church, it was almost as if they knew something that we that went to church didn't know. So I realized that principles that were being taught in church were teaching us to stay broke. I know that's crazy, but it was teaching us to stay poor. And so I'm going, so why would the organization teach us to stay poor? Now, one of the things that you do in the process of it is and I say, guys, can you handle the truth? Are you really ready for the truth? One of the things, the process of it, is you set a desire to become leadership. Now, I was in leadership for a very, very, very long time. I think I was not in leadership for the first 5 years that I was actually in church. For the first 5 years I was actually in church, I was not in some type of leadership. So that made me 24. At 24 years old, I was in leadership. I'm traveling, I'm preaching, I'm doing all these different things. And I realized that there was a difference between leadership and membership. There was a difference in leadership and membership. Now, I didn't know that. I had just come out of membership. So why would I be in leadership? So the laws that were set for membership were not the laws that applied to leadership. So let me give you something interesting. Let me kind of give you a relation, how that relates. So at that time, I was working for a company called MCI, which was a long distance company. And I was part of membership, which means I was part of the employees, which meant I was a part of what kept the company going and kept the leadership paid. Just throwing this out, this is MCI. I was a part of what kept the company going, but kept the leadership paid. So the key to that and MCI was to keep them in a position where they felt like they were necessary on this level. You want the truth? Let's have the truth. They felt like they were necessary on this level. They were not necessary to getting to the next level was not something that you aspired to. We paid you enough money here to make sure, wow, that was crazy. We paid you enough money here. Yeah. We paid you enough money here to make it comfortable for you not to move up here. So now what's happening is you find these things where you're going, you find out where you're going, you're moving forward in these things. Well, why am I not moving forward? Why am I not? It's not designed for you to move forward. MCI was not designed for you to move forward. It was designed for a certain set of people to control the rest of the people. So there were 10 supervisors. There were 10 supervisors, but there were 5 managers. And those 5 managers reported to it, and it went all the way up. But those 10 supervisors, their job was to control the movement of the people. So what do they need? What are they asking for? What keeps them quiet? What keeps them calm? All these things were being asked to keep you in this position. So now I'm sorry guys, I apologize, I did this wrong. So now as we begin to grow, what we were finding was, as I began to move into leadership, because I moved into leadership in MCI as well. So I began to move in leadership. I'm sitting there talking to the leader one time. The matter of fact, where I went to, the vice president came and he sat down. He goes, Dallas, I need to ask you a question. He goes, do you have any problems with your team? Because my team wasn't initial team. I was supervisor and I had 10 people under me. Okay. He said, okay, with the team. I said, no, Raleigh. He said, then why in the F are you guys not making your numbers? Now, here's the key. My quota as a supervisor was 10 sales. I was to make 10 sales per month as a supervisor. My team's quota was 20 sales per person. So 10 times 20 is 200 sales. They had to make 200 sales. Out of those 200 sales, 10 of those were my sales. I took those 10 sales. Now my supervisor, now I had to have 10 sales, all the team. So 10 times 10 is 100. So what happened was the supervisors. Now let me just make, because I'm making this it's a lot longer than it needs to be. Yeah, it's a lot longer than it's needed. Let me just make this true. The truth. The bottom line was my job was to do less work than you. That was the whole thing. Anytime you look at leadership, that's why I had a problem with religion. Religion was taught to do less work than you. Okay, so now less work than you means I now have to figure out how to keep you in a position where I don't have to work. One of the biggest challenges they had when it came to the South and the North and this whole thing with the Civil War was not the fact that the South were better than people or worse than the people. The South they were bougie. They didn't want to work. So they didn't want to lose slaves because that means they would have to work. And at that time, working look like you were less than the elite. Elite didn't work. So you didn't work. So you got slaves to do that. So what happens is now I get into religion, and religion says keep them at this point. So you keep telling, you remind people in church, you're just a nobody. Don't make me read your mail. You say all these things to make people feel like I am above you. It didn't work very well for me. So I'm telling people, now I was gifted and spiritually gifted, but I'm telling people all these things that they need to do and telling these people all these things that need to happen in their lives. And the bottom line was they were supposed to be equal to me. But you can't have equal to me because that means I have to work. Now, what happens is a lot of pastors got caught up in this whole thing. And there are a lot of great leaders, a lot of great leaders. What I want you to understand is what you desire from God, what you desire in your life, what you desire is going to take you purging religious dogmas. It's going to take you letting go of how religion designs it and desires for it to be. It's going to take you picking up the opportunities and things around you to start moving forward. I dealt with fear for a couple of weeks or a couple of days. And the reason I dealt with fear for a couple of days is because a lot of you are still afraid because you're still stuck behind the fact that somebody doesn't like you. My father used to teach me something, kill them with kindness. That was the thing. So it was kill them with kindness. I never understood that because it didn't kill them. It simply made them feel like they were right. But kill them with kindness. Now, why do you kill them with kindness? You kill them with kindness because you are trying to understand how you cannot be bogged down by how you feel about that person. I don't dislike anybody on this planet. And I've had people do everything to me. Some of the things that people try to do to me would blow your mind if I share them with you. Some of the things that people try to do to me would blow your mind, but I dislike no one. I love everybody. Why? Because I realize that my growth is not predicated on my like or dislike for you. So I don't put myself in a position where I dislike you. I don't put myself in a position where I hate you. I put myself in a position where what you have going for you is a key to get me to where I want to be. Can I tell you something? Every person in your life has a purpose. Every person in your life has a purpose. I don't care how deep they are. I don't care how mad you are at them. They all have purpose. And your key is to find out what the purpose is. Some of them might motivate you going, I don't ever want to be in this position ever again in life, to motivate you to be better. Some of them are to teach you how to love in spite of. Some of them to teach you how to present yourself. Everybody has a purpose. But the truth of the matter is, are you walking in purpose or are you walking in emotion? I love my family. I have 6 sisters. I love all of them. And they're all very different. They're all very different. And I'm going to tell you guys something that's a little secret. They're all very different. The key to that, though, is not the fact that they're different. The key is, how do I relate to each one of them? My sister Portia, who's probably on here, my sister Portia is the one that she's more like my dad than probably anybody else, because Portia goes after what she wants to go after, and she gets what she wants to get. My sisters, the other sisters, are more like their mom. I'm kind of a combination of my dad and my mother because I spent more time with my mother than my sister Portia did. Then I have my sisters that are on just mother's side. They're kind of ghetto. They're going to be mad they saw this. They're kind of ghetto. But the key becomes understanding your purpose. Now, what is money in my purpose? Let's just deal with purposes, okay? What if you want a relationship? You want to be married. You are a single man or a single woman, you want to be married. What is the number one thing you need to do? Is get your head together so you can hear direction. If you want to be married, you need to clean everything out of your mind and get your spirit and your mind together so you can hear direction. Why? Because when you get into a relationship, you're going to have to hear direction in spite of her getting on your nerves, in spite of him getting on your nerves. So if you are ready for a relationship, the first thing you have to do is get the mindset of relationship out of your mind. That's the first thing you need to do. If you're ready for a relationship. Okay? If you're ready for money isn't interesting, so I'll do the money later. You're ready to start a business. Okay, you want to start a business. You want to start a successful business, because starting a business and making money are two totally different things. So we'll get to money later. So let's say you want to start a business. Same situation. Get your mind and your spirit together. But in your case, you have to now put together habits. What do you do every day? What do you do every moment? What do you do? Because when you want to start a business, the design for business is to move into an area, hear me, that creates an atmosphere of making money. Because money is not currency. Money is control. Money is leverage. Money is not currency. If money was currency, right now, if you're thirsty and I give you this water, you would give me anything in your life because you're thirsty. And thirst is stronger than hunger. So water will become currency. I could give you $1 million. I can say, you can say, I'm thirsty, I'm gonna give you $1 million. And you go, no, I would rather have that bottle of water you have there. If you're at the point of death, water, you can go without food for 40 days. Believe it or not. But water, because you are consistent, you consist of a lot more water than you are of the ingredients of your food. You can go longer without food than you can water. So money is not consistency. Money is leverage, and money is control. That's all money is. That's all money is. Money is not about buying watches. It's not about buying clothes. Money is leverage. And if you don't use money according to leverage, what you do is you simply discount what money can do. That's another thing. So you have to understand, if you want money, you got to start understanding money. Understand money is not power. Money is not going to control you. You're going to use money to control. Got that? So if you want a business, it means you need to walk into habits necessary to make the business go. Okay? You have to walk into habits necessary to make the business grow. So now your mindset has to be hustle. Your mindset, get up at 6 o'clock. I do this, go to bed at 9 o'clock, do that, stay asleep for an hour, get back up at 11 o'clock, do this. Why? Because you've got to change your mindset from poverty and working for somebody to controlling and working for yourself. You have to learn. See, a lot of times when people want to go into business and they sit down with me, I just talked to a young man the other day, and the young man makes about $15,000 to $20,000 a month, but he has cash. He just got stacks of cash. Okay, he doesn't believe in credit. He doesn't believe in banks, so it stacks of cash. And he said, I got this money. So what happens is the money he has in his pocket, that money is control. So the control he has is in his pocket. So he asked me, what should I do with the money? What should I do with the $15,000? And I gave him a system by which the $15,000 can turn into $30,000 in less than 60 days. In less than 90 days, in less than 12 weeks. In 12 weeks, I said, I can show you how to take that $15,000 and turn it to $30,000 in 12 weeks. And I said, I can show you some things that are low impact. I can show you some things that are low income. That are not a big risk. Because you now have something that's in control and you can't take anything to control with it. So that's the thing. So now I talk to the people that want money. See, when you're ready for the truth, life changes. Why? Because truth is not emotional. Truth is just access. That's all it is. The opposite of fear is information. The growth of information is truth. Fear, information, truth. So if you have a fear, get information. And when you begin to operate in information, you come to truth. So now what you're finding is, what do? I want to be a wife. I want to be a husband. Okay, you want to be a wife, you want to be a husband? What are you doing right now? Are you playing into everybody that's telling you that men are terrible, or men are bad, or dogs, or all that kind of stuff? Are you sitting and watching Instagram over and over and over again? Or are you getting yourself ready for somebody else's life to influence your life, and vice versa? Somebody else's life. I'll never forget, I'm riding in the car one time and a young lady sitting in the back seat. And she says, how do I know when I find a husband? I said, when you find a person that you can follow without reservation. I didn't say without question, without reservation. She said, well, I guess I can't find a man. She said, I'm not ready for a husband. I said, you're probably not. I said, but you have to realize there has to be a man that is willing to operate in a leadership example role, and not just in a reflective role. A leadership and example role and not reflection. Now, what do I mean by that? A leadership example role, like right now, my wife is doing something. And some of the things she's doing, I want her to do it differently. So instead of me trying to convince her to do it differently, I create all the atmosphere necessary for her to do it differently, so she then makes a choice of whether to do it this way or to do it differently. Make sense? Okay. So I have to be ready for that. I got to be ready because as a single person, you make single person decisions. It's like as a carnal person, you make carnal person decisions. As a spiritual person, you make spiritual person decisions. So are you really ready for somebody else to tell you what to do? See how true that is, how hard that is? I don't know what to tell. Then you're not ready for a relationship. Because it's not always go do that. It's the fact that that is now required of you. Something goes up. You see shoes on the ground. I was at a dinner the other day, and I said, here's the difference in a poor wife and a wealthy wife. Are you ready for this? This is good. The poor wife will walk in the house. The husband's shoes. He's been working all day. He steps on the shoes. She trips on the shoes. She goes upstairs. She takes the shoes, and she begins to scream and yell at him about leaving his shoes in the living room. That's the difference. That's what a poor wife would do. Poor-minded wife, a poverty-minded wife. She's frustrated about her money, so she does this. Here's what a wealthy wife would do. A wealthy-minded wife. Same situation. They both working. Wealthy wife comes in. She trips over the shoes. She grabs the shoes. She walks upstairs. She wakes her husband up. She sits down on the side of the bed, and she says to her husband, "What do I do for you to help you make enough money so we can hire somebody to pick your shoes up for you? What do I do to help you make enough money that we can hire somebody to pick up your shoes for you?" Why? Because she's looking at the future. That's the difference in a poverty-minded woman and a wealthy-minded woman. Ask yourself this: which one would you be? See, because a poverty-minded woman wants to make her point. She wants to let everybody know that she's mad. She wants everybody to know that she's upset. She wants everybody to know that this is not pleasing to her. A wealthy-minded person will sit with her husband and say, "Listen, I'm not pleased with it. Let's fix it." Let's flip this to the husband. See, here's the difference in a wealthy husband and a poverty-minded husband. Okay, a wealthy husband will go to his wife and say, "Oh my God, why are you spending so much money? Why are you doing so much this? Why are you doing that so much that?" And complain about all the things that she does to spend money. That's a poor-minded man, because he's going, "I got to hold on to every dime." A wealthy-minded man will say, "Okay, sweetie, how much money do you want to spend per year on your purses, on your bags, on your shoes, on your cars? Okay, let's get together and build that amount of money in the next day. Let's not worry about how much the shoes cost. Let's figure out how to make enough money that shoe cost doesn't make a difference." Are you ready for the truth? Because the key to this whole situation, I'm going to tell you for the truth, the key to the whole situation is, as we begin, my wife and I begin to make more money, we realized that more things weren't important to spend money on. Less things became important to spend money on. So when I learned that, I stopped thinking about how much is gas. My wife doesn't know how much gas costs. You know why she doesn't know how much gas costs? Because what we need to know, the effort, the thought process you need to have. Listen to me. Okay. I need everybody to give me type. If you're on YouTube, I need you to type this: "I'm listening." I need you, if you're on Instagram, I need you to type this: "I'm listening." I need you to type "I'm listening," because I'm going to teach you a lesson. I'm going to teach you something that will help you in the long run of where you're going. I need you to learn this. I mean, type it in. "I'm listening. I'm listening." Somebody type it in. "I'm listening." Yeah, okay, got it. Sandra, of course you're listening. I'm listening. Here's what I need you to understand. The thing that moves your life is inspiration, and inspiration comes from your spirit. So your spirit is the gasoline that inspires you. So when you are inspired, that's when movement is made. So what you have to understand is this. Follow me. Whatever place you place the majority of your mind in, it becomes inspired by the power of your mind. That's why things go through your mind from your spirit. Your spirit speaks to your mind, and your mind then adds inspiration to it, because inspiration is what makes you move. You're inspired to move. That's why when we see babies, we're inspired to go, "Oh my God, oh wow." We're inspired to move. So if you're taking your inspiration, the power that you carry in your mind, and all you're doing is complaining about the things that are around you, honey, you're giving that thing power. So you don't have time to listen to the mental inspiration, because you clog up the opportunity for the spiritual. You have a small capacity of emotions. You can be mad, you can be sad, you can be happy, hungry. Though you have a very small capacity of emotions. Within that capacity, because your mind is supposed to be transitioning things out, not supposed to be holding on to things, it transitions the things out that are necessary to move from point A to point B. It does not transition the things out that you need. Remember, the reason your memory is so crazy, because you're holding on to a whole bunch of junk that does not make a difference to your destination. It doesn't. The truth of the matter is, you've got who you like, who you don't like, what you don't like. You got all these things clogged into your brain. When those opportunities should be opportunities where you open yourself up to the next level. I know one thing about my life. My goal is to make sure that I touch every person I'm supposed to touch by the time I leave here. If you are carrying information that's going to go to your grave, you're selfish. And most of us are, by nature, we're selfish. We want our stuff to be right, and we don't care about anybody else. We just want our stuff to be right. Did this happen? Well, why didn't you take care of me? Why didn't you give me my apple? Why don't you give me my song? Why don't you let me sing my song at church? Why don't you let me preach my sermon at church? I can preach better than them. What happens is this whole thing turns you into a person that is competitive with something that you don't need to be competitive with. Why? Because you're selfish. We all are. Every one of us. Every one of us. But the interesting thing about our selfishness is once we leave our selfish environment, we try to present an atmosphere of we're confident. We don't let anybody help us. We don't let anybody tell us anything. We become the dogma or become the rules of the things that have hurt us, that have made us the worst person. So somebody does something to us, we go drinking until we numb ourselves. If a man hurts us, we go over to the other side. If a woman hurts us, we begin to dog of the woman. Why? Because the truth of the matter is we're selfish and we want everybody to operate like us. We are not that. Your job is to build yourself to a point where you are not following everybody, but you're not using emotions to keep you from flowing. I don't get mad at anybody. The rule is the rule. You ask me for something, if I can give it, I give it. If I can't, I can't. You can't make me mad at you. You can't upset me. You can't anything else. I look at everything. If I am intense, everybody come on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, on the link below. If I am intense, I'm not intense because I'm mad. I'm intense because the information needs to be shared. I got over that. See, the truth of the matter is you still want value to your anger. You want people to know you mad. You want your head to snap. You want to know people less than you. You want all these things in your life. Because the truth of the matter is you don't know your value, so you got to devalue other people so that you feel more valuable to yourself. Or you look more valuable to people that you don't even like. So you say, I want a husband. Do you really want a husband, or do you want somebody to fit into the plan of life that you've already set? Do you want a wife, or do you really want someone that looks as good so your people know that you are there? Do you really want a business, or do you want to make enough money so you can tell other people to shut up? Do you really want money, or do you just want something so you can buy all the things that satisfy the lust of your flesh so that you can actually feel like you're something different? Listen, I don't want to make money so I can prove anything to anybody. Right now, the clothes that you wear, if I gave everybody on here a Cartier watch and say, this watch is yours, bought 100,000 Cartier watches and gave them away. There's some of you to go, wow, this is a nice watch. I'm not a watch person and never wear it. There's some of you that go, okay, this is a nice watch. It'll match something. I'll wear it when I go. But then there are a few of you that are going to look and say, wait a minute, who makes this watch? And realize that I just gave you $50,000 in a watch form. I was talking to a young man the other day, and I said there are three levels of watches. There's the level of watches that people have a cult following to. That are functional, followers, and expensive. I said they're functional. Maybe your Timexes, your G-Shocks. Those are functional watches. The followers are people that follow Invicta. People that do Invicta are just a group to themselves. It's a cult following. Invictas, Movados, those are cult followings. Then you have your APs, your Hublots, your Rolexes. That you have those three. The key becomes understanding where they fit into what you want. Are you looking for something functional? Just get you a functional watch. Because 9 times out of 10, people don't really know watches. Nobody knows how much this watch is, unless 6 foot is on here, or 6'9" is on here. Nobody knows how much this watch is, but they do know how it feels to them. What does watch mean to you? You follow me? What does it mean to you? So what I want you to understand is the truth of the matter is why do you hold on to the things that you hold on to? Why you're part of the things that you're part of? Why are you in places that you're in right now? Why are you there? Why? Because, see, when you understand that you are past this point, already in the next point, you'll stop looking back to the past point, trying to figure out how to get the past stuff to your present. You're already in the next. You are already in, where are we today? We're already in July 6th. So July 5th means nothing to you. It means absolutely nothing to you. If you lost your memory today, and today was the only day, and when you lost your past memory today, and today was the only day that you had, what would you do with it? You don't even know what happened yesterday. Half of you probably don't. What would you do with it? How would you make sure that tomorrow is a better day? How would you make sure of that? Because I'm teaching you something that's going to help you out. Stop occupying your mind with things that don't move you, that don't elevate your process. Stop occupying. Listen, I'm not mad at nobody. No, there's no one on this planet that I'm upset with. Why? I don't have time for it. The truth of the matter is you are carrying around a religious dogma, a shield, a shadow, a shroud in your face. And how you know it? You know it because of this. Ask yourself this. How many people have you got that owe you right now? How many people owe you? Owe you money, owe you time, you did something for them. How many owe you? How many owe you? And how much time do you spend thinking about the people that owe you? How much time do you spend, check this out, how much time do you spend trying to find that person? You need to watching whether they bought shoes or not, watching what's going on in their life. How much time do you spend there? That's number one. How many people owe you? Number two, how many people do you dislike because they did something to you and you felt like they disrespected you? And how much time do you spend thinking about that when you see that person? How much time do you do in remembering what they did? How much time do you spend doing that? How much time how many people get mad? How many people do you expect to do something for you? You wait for him to say, I'm to marry you. How many people do you have expectations on? You're sitting there with expectations on that person because they told you they're going to be in a place and they're going to do something or be in a certain situation. How many of those? See, these are things that occupy your mind. So I teach this lesson. It's called the $6,000 concept. The $6,000 concept. $6,000 concept says this. Every minute of your life, you're worth $1,000. Every hour, every minute is worth $1,000. So that means in 60 minutes, you should make $1,000. You should make $6,000. In 60 minutes, you should make $60,000. So every 60 minutes, you're worth $60,000. Every minute that you waste on unnecessary, arbitrary thoughts, you might as well pay that person $1,000. The person that gets you to come in and want to sit and gossip while you could be doing business, you're just giving them $1,000 worth of your time. If it's 2 minutes, you're giving them $2,000 worth of your time. And you know what you got, what residual you got back on that $2,000? Information that did not take you any place than where you were right now. It's the 60-minute concept. $60,000 concept. Not one time. You're sitting here right now, and because you're sitting here right now, you can make more money than you've ever made before in your life. More money. I told you, this gentleman sitting down with, he had $15,000 while he was sitting. He had $5,000 while he was sitting there. And I said, what are you going to do with it? He said, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I said, what if I tell you what to do with it? He said, dude, you can have what you want. You tell me what to do with it. Why? Because that moment. Now we're sitting watching basketball. We're watching street ball. They're outside playing street ball. We're watching street ball. What time is it? 11:05, dog. We're outside watching street ball. And the reason we're outside watching street ball is because that is how he downloads from what he's doing. Now, I don't know what he's doing. He could be selling drugs, selling t-shirts, cookies. I don't know. He could be a pimp for all I know. Why? Because I don't occupy my mind with those types of things. Another one. How many times you ride down the street going, man, what are they doing over there? Who cares? Who cares? What are they doing over there? What difference does that make to what you're doing right now? Because The truth of the matter is you have distracted yourself from the level of wealth that you can occupy. And the reason you've done that is because nobody told you that you had that ability. You want to be a billionaire? Forget billionaire. You want to make $1,000? You want to make $1,000 before the month is out, and we're at the 7th of the month. You want to make $1,000 before the month is out, and need $1,000 a week before the month is out. Find a digital product, whether you're doing affiliate marketing, whether you're selling a book, whether you're selling a t-shirt. Find a digital product. Present that digital product. I heard somebody say something, pay enough money for it. Present that digital product in such a way. First of all, take it to the people that are around you. Have that product be about $10. $10, okay. You may be making $2 a piece. Have that product about $10. Go around to the people that are in your family. If you have a small family, go to the people around you and say, I'm selling this and I'm trying to raise money for this. See, we don't know that when it comes to raising money or getting money, money has to have a story behind it. I had a friend of mine call me because one of his friends had a car accident. One of the friends has a car accident, was in a car accident. And he said, man, I want to raise some money to help the family. Now, I don't know if the family is rich, but the mere fact that there was a reason and a story behind it, that meant that that money, which remember is power and leverage, it is power and leverage, meaning I can now leverage my ability to help them. You follow me? So you create that concept. You either create the concept or follow the concept. There's something called affiliate marketing. Makes money. Something called, now look these up, black walnut trees. Black walnut trees, most expensive tree, what they make telephone poles from. If you grew a black walnut grove, you would make so much money off the black walnut trees. There are ways to make money, but the key becomes you have to figure out if you're going to be able to handle the truth. Because here's what's going to happen. The moment you decide to do that, everything about you that is detrimental, your laziness, your procrastination, distractions, all those things are going to kick in. The reason they're all going to kick in is because those things are the things that are being control of your life the whole time. Most of us don't know the things that bother us are the things that have been controlling our lives for the whole time. That's what's been controlling your life. Because the money, when I told you money is leverage, when you gave up money, you gave up leverage. When you gave up money, you gave up leverage. Because you didn't use the money as leverage, you used the money to purchase a emotional, satisfying thing. I don't have it here. Let's see what I have on my desk. I had on my desk. Oh, here we go. Here we go right here. We'll use this. Oh, here we go. Here we go right here. We'll use this. Check this out. Okay. This is one of our cameras, one of the cameras that my wife and I use for the things that we do. So when I purchased this camera was, I don't know if this is the newer one. Yeah, this is the older one. The newer one is the one that's young. So when I purchased this camera with the sole purpose of using it for taking pictures and video. Okay? Now, the camera is ugly, camera expensive, camera's all these things, but that camera has nothing to do with what I like. Now, when I bought the camera, I didn't do a lot of pictures. We do a lot of pictures now. But here's the key. The key to that situation is it was a functional piece of it was a functional product that would help me move from point A to point B. Now, I could have taken that same money, bought me a shirt, bought me pants, bought me a suit. That's the same amount of money it took to buy that camera. I could have taken that money and done something else with the money. But that camera has done me good because you're now, guys are watching, you're now watching from my camera. Now, those of you that are on YouTube, you are now seeing this is a great camera. Look how clear this is. Now, I had another camera before that wasn't as clear. Why? Because it was a functional product that helped me get to where I needed to get to. You got me? It was a functional product to help me get to where I need to get to. I'm going to stop that. So let me ask you this question. Where do you want to be? If you want to be there, you got to figure out where your mindset is. Where's your mind? Where is your mind? Where is your mind? Where is your mind? Where is your mind? I understood something spiritual about myself as I was growing up. I understood that the value of who I was not based on the people around me. I really never dealt with my family when it comes to things. So things you guys have when it comes to your family, where you hate your family, they did this, and that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't make a difference to me because I love my family. I love my family a lot. My whole goal in life was to be a great family guy. Well, not family guy. To be a good father, be a good dad, be a good brother. Because my dad was a great dad. My dad was a great dad. When I look at other dads, they probably were daddy-like. My dad was destination-like. He taught us things that teach us now and help us now. What time is it? 11. And so I didn't have a problem when it came to being a dad because I was like, I enjoyed being a dad. I enjoyed watching my dad be a dad. You follow me? He would run with us. He would jump with us. And so now I'm watching this generation of kids and their dad, they don't have dads. So it becomes easy because now I realize how valuable my dad was as I become more mature. You follow me? Okay. So, like I said, how do you combat these things? The things that you combat in your life, you have to combat them in the spirit. The key is meditation and prayer. Guys, you have no idea how much meditation and prayer is. Meditation and prayer is the key. If you can understand how to operate in your meditation and your prayer, you can do amazing things. Amazing things. I needed a certain amount of money this week, and that certain amount of money presented itself before the week is out. Why? Because I'm not bogged by hating and disliking. I move as my spirit guides me. For example, if my spirit says to me, okay, and see, I'm in meditation. If I feel impressed, now I keep saying say it to me, but there's a part of the spirit, I'm going to teach this on the class. There's a part of the spirit, there are 3 ways that your spirit speaks to you. It speaks to you audibly, believe it or not, it does. It speaks to you audibly. It speaks to you through impressions, and it speaks to you through situations. Audibly, impressions, and situations. Audibly. Audibly is you'll have a dream or you'll feel like somebody is saying something to you. Impressions is you just feel like I am hungry for a specific kind of hamburger. That's an impression of the spirit. Your spirit is impressing you. It doesn't make sense. Your mind is not thinking it. You just all of a sudden want a Five Guys hamburger. Okay? All of a sudden you feel like you need to be in Israel. He's like, Israel, I'm seeing it on TV, Israel just overwhelmed me. You have to figure out the problem that happens with each of these. And then finally, situations are put together that way. All of a sudden, and I'll never forget this one day, I was going to a restaurant. I was going to Longhorns in Atlanta. All of a sudden, I felt like I should go to Golden Corral. Now, Longhorns is a steak joint. Golden Corral is a all-you-can-eat buffet. And I'm like, I'm just going to go, whatever. I learned to follow that impression. So I followed that spirit and I went to Golden Corral. When I went to Golden Corral, there was a young man. I had been looking for this guy. I had been searching, hunting for this guy. I couldn't find him. He walks into Golden Corral. Situation's positioned. He walks into Golden Corral. And I'm like, dude, do you know how long I have been looking for you? He said, that is very funny. And his wife says, why? I said, why? His wife says, because we were about to go to Longhorns. But we had the kids, so we thought we better come to Golden Corral. So while I'm riding down the street, I said, you know what? I need to go to Golden Corral. I could not think about the money of it because money is not currency in the spirit. Money is simply control and it's leverage. So I wasn't in spirit. So when I knew I needed to go to Longhorns, over that, I went to Longhorns. And when I went to Longhorns, this person was there. Now, tell you another story. So about 3 weeks after that, probably more like a month, while I'm riding down the street, check this out. I'm riding down the street and on, I cannot think of the name of this main road. There are these really, 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 really nice restaurants. Really nice restaurants. You're going to pay $50, $60 per plate if you pay anything. And so they had this one restaurant where two people can probably eat there for about $60. Probably $60. And so I'm riding down the street. Remember, money is not currency. I'm riding down the street. I have $15 in my pocket. I have a friend of mine. She's riding with me. And she says, hey, I'm hungry. I said, me too. I said, where do you want to eat? She said, I don't know. So I'm riding past this one seafood steak joint. And I know how much it costs. And I heard the Spirit of God say, go here. And I'm sitting there going, all I got is $15. He's like, go here. I'm like, okay, I'll go there. And so we pull into the joint. Now, I said, sir, I'm like, no, I'm doing the old. I'm like, look, I got $15. We're gonna go ahead and just maybe get us a nice appetizer, share the appetizer, and eat dinner. And that's the way it's gonna be. Are you cool? And she's like, yeah, cool. We go there. As I walk in the door, right outside, there's a dollar bill on the ground right in front of me, or $2 bill. There's $2 on the ground. I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna eat it. We can have drinks now. So I grabbed the $2, and when I grabbed the $2, I put the $2 in my pocket. I'm watching myself put this in my pocket. So we go in, it's a table for two. We sit down. She sits there. She sits there. She says, what do you want? And I said, I don't know. And I hear my mind say, eat what you want. And I'm thinking to myself, no. So the waitress finally comes, and I hear her say, eat what you want. And I said, okay, I'm going to eat what I want. I said, I want seafood pasta. I like pasta. I want seafood pasta. I said, what do you want? And she's kind of looking at me like, you know, we only got $15. I said, I don't know what's going to happen. Just eat what you want. And she said, well, you sure you got 15? I said, get what you want. So I think she gets like chicken marsala and some potatoes or something like that. And she says, I'll get what we want. So we're sitting there eating, reluctantly eting. And I said, listen, we're going to take this $15. And I stick my hand in why am I sticking my hand in my pocket for real? Like I'm doing it now. I said, we're going to take this $15. And I'm like, we're going to see what happens. And I looked out and I pulled in and I laid the money on the table. Guys, it was exactly the amount of money that the ticket was. The ticket was $42.97. It was $45. It was $45 in my pocket. My $15 plus whatever. I had $45 in my pocket. We ate our food, drank the whole 9 yards. Plus we had a little bit of a tip. Why? Because I had the spirit. My spirit guides me in places that don't make sense to my mind. I can call that girl up right now, and she'll look at me like I'm crazy. So when I start telling you guys, when you come, these classes I'm talking about spiritual, you are on a whole different level. You're not on the level where you go through logic and try to figure things out. It's a whole different level. Can you imagine if that spirit guided you to a place that you had no idea how it was going to happen, and that spirit guided you to a place that was beyond your capabilities, and you get the thing that you know you can't afford? It's a spiritual thing. But you don't want the truth. See, the truth is you're afraid to move. That's why I dealt with fear. You're afraid to move because you're afraid to be embarrassed. You're afraid to be embarrassed. What was I going to do if that food was more money than I had? Was I going to be embarrassed? No, I'm going to simply say, sir, all we had was $15. Then they do one or two things. They say, take the $15, go, Mr. $2, sorry, no problem, big deal. Go on, it's just food. Or they can do whatever they want. But I knew what my spirit said. Because what you want to hear something crazy, people? Some of your spirit is leading you to places that are so beyond your ability to handle it. But your mind and your carnal and your history and your past and all the things that have happened in your life, they're speaking to you to tell you not to make that move and not to make that jump. And so you stay stuck. Because all God is trying to get you to do, all your spirit man is trying to get you to do, is to make you move to a place where you can move beyond your personal capabilities to a spiritual place where you don't know how to get there without it. That's all it's trying to do. That's the truth. Religion is not going to do it for you. Being identified with these different dogmas and these different religions, church is not going to do it for you. What's going to do it for you is the moment you learn how to address and to hear in the spirit. When you learn that, you will live in places you never thought you could live. You will go to places you never thought you would go. You will see things you never thought you would see. You will find the husband or the wife that you will never imagine you could have possibly found. I don't care if you're on Tinder or whatever. You will make money in places you never thought you could make money in. But you got to break free. You got to break free. You have to break free. I had to break free. That was my moment of breaking free. That was my moment that anywhere you told me to go, anywhere I felt impressed in my spirit to go, I was going to go. I wasn't going to stop and try to think about, well, how much money I got. No, I was going to go into those areas. Now, from that point on, I never had to go to another place where money, I knew I didn't have the money. I did have the money. Now, I did go to places where it seemed like, okay, what are you doing with that money? I need you to take that money and do this with it. Well, God, I don't do that money with this. And when I did that with this just recently happened. This happened to me this week. I needed to use $1,000, and all I had was $1,000. That's all I had was $1,000. So I needed to use $1,000. My credit card bill came up, everything started to come up, and I was $1,000 short, and I had $1,000. I was going to do something else with it, and it said, pay that bill. Pay the bill. When I paid the bill, I get a phone call. A friend of mine calls me up and he goes, hey man, I need you to help me do something. I said, okay, what are you going to pay me for it? He said, I'll pay you $1,500 for it. Now, you follow me? This is being in that place of the spirit, because what my spirit does is move me to another level. My spirit is not designed to keep me here. It's to move me to another level. You don't have to pay $800 for stuff. If you follow your spirit, you pay a little or nothing for it. Why? Because money is not currency. Obedience is currency. Spirituality is currency. Money is simply the leverage to make that thing happen. That's why they got you working for $15 an hour when you know you're worth $100 an hour, because they've leveraged their money to get you under control. They've leveraged their money to get you under control. There's a movie by with Don Cheadle in it, and I think it's on Instagram. I think it's on I forget it. I think it's on HBO. It says without a word of silence, something silence. I'm gonna look it up. Let me look it up. And so one of the lines in the movie, let me see where the HBO new HBO movies, and so in one of the lines in the movie, and I will never forget this line in the movie, and it's called it's called No Sudden Moves. No Sudden Moves. And so in the movie, what time is it? Oh God, about 7 minutes. In the movie, the guy says they end up getting, two street dudes end up getting $300,000 in the 70s from this guy. And he said, it is amazing to me how you've come above your position in life. How you moved above your position in life. You're not going to move above your position in life unless you understand the movement of the spirit. But anyway, he said you're above your position of life. And spoiler alert, when he said that, he said, you have broken all the laws. We positioned you. We pay to keep you in position. See, what you don't understand is people that have money use money to control. People that don't have money use money to purchase. People that have money use money to control. People that don't have money use money to purchase. I want Shaq on my team, so I'll get enough money so that I get Shaq on my team, because I make so much money, it doesn't make a difference. So I will make Shaq do something Shaq doesn't even want to do. I will buy Shaq's contract, and Shaq don't even want to be a part of my team. So I take that and I control him with the money. And he said, you've got above your position. When you operate spiritually, you don't have a position. There's no position. Whatever you need to get to the next level, you'll get it. Why? Because when you get it, you get to the place that the Spirit wants you to be, because it lines up with where He's trying to take you. It lines up with where He's trying to take you. And it happens all the time, people. I'm telling you, it happens to me all the time. We went to a restaurant, and when we went to the restaurant was the meal was $115,000 was $115, and we finished eating the meal. The manager of the restaurant came over and said, "How you doing, Don Shaw? Was it a good meal?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "This one's on me. This one's on me." We're talking about nice restaurants where there's a chef in the back, and the chef comes out and says, "What do you want?" "This one's on me." Why? Because we position ourselves by we move spiritually. We don't position ourselves because we move as we feel. I don't move like I feel. I move because my spirit has the control of my feelings. Is that it? Where we at? Yep, we got about 5 minutes. That's where we are right there. That's what you have to understand. When I say, listen, I want to take you through this spiritual process. That's what the class is. That's what the class is all about. That's what the spiritual retreat. How do you live this? I told you, my father told me, never die. Then I have a friend of mine, his uncle said, never die with all the information inside of you. He said, that's selfish. If God has guided you and learned you and taught you learned you. If he learned you and taught you over these years, share it. I am doing my very best right now. Every day. I'm on this thing every day. My wife is like, every day I'm here. Every day I'm here. Why? Because I need you to understand there's a whole different atmosphere and a whole different dimension that you don't know nothing about. But you're so convinced that your little bitty house, your little bitty car, your small little job, the people around you, that's your world. They're not your world. They're sent the attributes to convince you that you need to stay here. You need to break free and figure out how to get to the next level. And figure out how to get to the next level. I'm inviting you to take the class. Take the class. You don't take the class. It doesn't matter. Because those that take the class will see another level. And those that don't take the class will find another way to do it. To see another level. Or you know you're supposed to take the class. So you didn't DM me because in your mind you're thinking, I got to figure this thing out another way. So you know you're supposed to take the class, but you don't take the class, and you get stuck in the same loop that you were in now, living a quarter of a mile at a time, living bill to bill every time. It's time to break free. You want the truth? It's time to break free. What you're doing apparently is not working, or you wouldn't be where you are. You wouldn't be where you are. Now, this is not Santa Claus. This is not, you get to do everything and it's just, it's bells and whistles. This is not Santa Claus. What this is the ability to see and work in an atmosphere that's going to do better for you. It's the ability to work in an atmosphere that's better. It's when you are working on something and that thing is going to make you greater, or instead of working on something that's going to keep you right here. Some of you are working just to satisfy your bills. That's all. You're working to satisfy your bills. You're working like dogs. I work 15 hours a day, but I got this money. Why? Because you're taking the leverage they've given you. You made that leverage your life. And so they're sitting there laughing going, wow, that same hours that you take, if you put that hours over there, you work for 10 good years and you won't have to work another day of your life. But they promise you benefits, a retirement plan. They promise you these things that make you controlled, put you under control. They promise you that stuff. When God promised you, if you get in the spirit, what they do to control you will simply catapult you. What they're doing to control you can take you to the next level. But you got to get out of your own way. You got to get out of your own way. I hear people all the time say, man, I'm thinking positive. It's not about thinking positive. I don't speak positive. I tell people, they say, man, do you say your affirmation? I don't speak positive. I speak truth. And truth comes from the spirit. Let me put this diagram up here real quick. Truth comes from the spirit before I go. Truth comes from the spirit. When truth comes from the spirit, it spins your mind. And then when you speak truth according to your mind, your body begins to line up. I don't speak positive. I don't give affirmations. I speak truth. And when I speak truth, truth lines up with the spirit and it comes to pass. Some of you affirmation, I'm believing, my ship's going to come in. My ship's going to come in. There is no ship coming in, people. The ship has been there. You just have never got on. Why? Because church told you the spiritual was there. People told you that you got to be a good person. People said all these things they say to you, and they're simply arbitrary truths that don't give you any kind of growth. And that's just my day for you today. I'm still doing the spiritual. I'm still doing the retreat, not the retreat. I'm still doing the class. What's the class called? I'm still doing the class. Yep, I'm still doing the class. Yep. The Secret to Spiritual Abundance. I'm still doing that class. We're doing it. It's going to be 4 classes, 2 hours apiece, and we're going to talk about spiritual abundance. That's abundance. That's abundance. When you get to the end of you, the abundance takes place. And you're led by the abundance. You're led by the abundance. You're led by the abundance. The reason I do YouTube is so you can watch these videos over and over and over again, and I don't have to worry about Instagram cutting me off. You're led by the abundance. And when you understand you're led by the abundance, you understand that the tools that you have right now in your hand. I've been doing business consulting, oh my God, for so long, it's not even funny. The tools you have in your hand, if you have cash, you have leverage. Now the key is, how do you create the leverage? Leverage is not buying a house. Leverage is not buying a car. Leverage is not buying jewelry. Leverage is taking your money to control the movement of your atmosphere. If you have something spiritual, if you are a spiritual person, it's not about church. It's not about religion. It's not about dogma. It's operating in a place that best benefits your destination. When you learn those things, you will walk in a place that will mess your world up. I told you I sat and watched basketball with this brother. Most wise brother I've ever seen in my life. He's a wise, wise brother. But he needs to understand he is at another level. And how does he get to that level? He leverages what he has so he can get to where he's supposed to be. Not where he needs to be, not where he wants to be, where he's supposed to be. And when you get past the needing and wanting to be and realize there's a place you're supposed to be, this world will change for you. Somebody's in your house. Then I'm going to go. Somebody's in your house. It's your house. You pay for your house. He's sitting in your living room going, this is my house. How bad, how hard would you press to get that man out of your house? Because he's not supposed to be there. Let me take it a step further. You get to your house that you pay for, you own, and somebody that you don't know changed the locks on the door so you can't get in. How hard would you press to get into a house because you're supposed to be in there? Guess what? What you are desiring wealth-wise, life-wise, spirit-wise is yours, and you're supposed to have it. What the world has to do is convince you that you're not supposed to have it. That's what they have to convince you you're not supposed to have it. And when they convince you you're not supposed to have it, they also convince you that you're supposed to give it to me. The government believes that you need to give them taxes because they do something for you. They do absolutely nothing for you. IRS believes you should pay them a portion of what you do. They do absolutely nothing for you. But they tell you, do you know the IRS for us? It was the depression that to people when they would die or when things would happen, they would not have to depend on. They would have money to depend on. It was not for this present time. Just saying that. So those of you who want to take the course, make sure you DM me and I'll make sure I get the package to you. Those of you that don't want to take the course, you don't have to DM me. You can if you want, but you don't have to DM me. DM me because the course I say is 4 classes, 2 hours, four classes, 2 hours apiece, and it will teach you how to transition from where you are to a spiritual abundance. This is not church, so we will not tell you how you have to go in and pay tithes. That is not it. But there is a place you deserve and is required, and it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be. I'm going to teach you how to get there. All right, guys. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you for hanging out with me. It is time. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same back channel. Try to transition, guys, from Instagram over to YouTube, because when I start giving these slides and doing these other things on YouTube, it'll make it a whole lot easier than me doing the two things. All right. I appreciate you. I love you guys. I'm William Dallas. This is the Higher Standards Chronicles. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.